Be funny if I started swearing like crazy right now.
It's being recorded. It's being recorded.
Fucking bullshit. Goddamn technology.
Hi, how are you doing? Oh. Hello?
No.
Okay, so are we ready?
We are ready.
To Health Formers, Age of the Plants, episode 1 podcast, the very first one ever in the world. Welcome everyone. I'm so excited to have you all here today, and I'm even more excited to introduce to you our very first special guest, Derek Zemmin. Woo-hoo! Hi Derek!
Hello.
Hello. So Derek, for me to introduce you today, what tone of voice would you like me to introduce you in?
I would actually like two different voices.
Two different voices?
So the first one I'd like, yeah, I'm an overachiever. I want to see you in action. All right. So one voice would be a DJ on a radio show host, like I've just won something. And then two, I want you to switch to Goofy from Walt Disney.
Okay, can you give me an example of those, please, first? Right back at ya.
Oh, getting right back at me. I see how this works. Yeah, so you could do like a DJ would be, "Hi, Lucy, how you doing? How's your day been? I just want to let you know that you are our 40th caller and you've just won $40.
Okay.
And then Goofy's like this. Goofy talks like that. You have to talk like that. That's how Goofy talks.
Okay. All right.
See, I'm not afraid. I've got no fear.
Okay. All right. Game on. We have Derek Zemmin, is an accredited nutritional therapist, yoga instructor, and public speaker. His goal is to educate and create awareness for wellness and nutritional health. Derek operates an online global nutritional therapy and well-being practice aimed at helping clients with life choices, mental and physical stress, vitamin and antioxidant deficiencies, cleansing programs, meal plans, sports nutrition, healthy aging, weight loss, and other lifestyle goals. Eric's passion is rooted in the fact that he has personally faced these issues and has made changes resulting in a dramatic lifestyle turnaround. This result has fueled Derek's desire to help others to do the same. Woohoo, Derek! Welcome!
Brought tears to my eyes. Very well done. I don't think it was Goofy though. That was just Goofy.
That wasn't DJ. There was DJ in there. I think there was a mixture of both. Eh? All right.
Oh, that was good though. Very good.
Thank you. And for the way we're going to report our podcast, so since this is our first one, let me just quickly explain. How we do is I'll be asking you random questions, and it'll be sort of playing a game where I ask you a question and you answer, and let's see how many questions we can go through within the 45 minutes time frame. And the way we choose the questions is I have this Apnea, which is an electronic flywheel. So what I'll do is I will do this, press, and it'll turn. And then your first question is what? Okay, and then you'll answer it. So that's how we will go. So you have no idea what question's gonna pop up. Gotcha. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, now let's do our very first question. Tell us, how do you feel after going plant-based?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was back in, even after I'd done my studying and everything and got my accreditation, I still was actually eating probably about half and half. I was probably eating meat most of the time, and some plant. I have always, my whole life, have been eating. I love vegetables, always have. My mother's best friend was a dietitian, and my mother pretty much built our, any kind of meal that we had for dinner. She constructed, a well-balanced meal every time we had dinner. So we were like forced to eat our vegetables. Like it was non-negotiable. So I've always loved vegetables, and I thank my mother for that, because she was very strict with it. So vegetables has always been a good thing for me. But even after my studies and everything, I started going to a lot of different seminars, and when I made the decision to go plant-based was based on just, more studying about it. I read the China study, which was a really good book about plant-based foods, and just went to a lot of other different health seminars. And in that process, I was actually constructing a speech I was about to do. And the amazing thing was, while I was creating the speech, I had this realization. And in the realization, I realized I started to talk about, like a cow. I took a cow as an example, and I said, all right, where is the cow from? What farm is he from? How is he treated? There's so many questions of the life of this cow, and what happens to him? What is he fed? How is he treated? Does he know he's born to die? Things like that. And while I was constructing the speech, I realized all the processes that this cow goes through when he dies, how many tables he's been on, how many people have cut him, how many people have held him, took him apart. Then it gets to your butcher, and he chops him up, and another guy chops it up, and then they wrap it up in foam and plastic, and then they stick it, on a grocery store somewhere, and it sits there. By the time it's, gotten to you, it's who knows how long it's been now. And then you take it home and you cook the living shit out of it.
Yes.
and then you eat it. And then I started looking at plant-based stuff and comparing it to like a bean, as just an example. And obviously beans and cow is completely two different things, but there is a ton of protein and all kinds of other things that a bean does still have. It's cheaper, and also, you can grow it and you can pluck it, and it will not actually die. It may harden, but when you put it in water, it activates it and brings it back to life. And I thought, wow, what an interesting concept. So then my mind started to have this shift. So I thought, maybe I should try plant-based. And the more I started to eat plant-based, when I made that decision after writing that speech, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And I was plant-based, 100% plant-based for almost 2 years.
Wow.
And yeah, it was amazing. So I think everyone, I had the experience of this huge transformation. Like, you lose a lot of, certain fat that comes off your body, water weight, a whole bunch of things start to happen, and you do have this increased energy. And so when it happened to me, I felt just absolutely amazing. I had like a new step in my stride when I got up in the morning. And probably the biggest one for me was the fact that when I did eat like meat and potatoes and that kind of stuff, when I slept at night, I had a horrible sleep. I would toss and turn. I would fall asleep on the train ride to work. Bus ride, if I had to take that in Brisbane. And it was just not a good feeling. And when I changed, I wasn't falling asleep anymore. I slept better. I felt more energized in the morning instead of sluggish and lethargic. And yeah, it was just a huge change. So that that in itself, just having the sleep, the more energy in the morning, feeling lighter as well. I don't know if anyone's out there may have the experience of when you're sitting there after you've eaten and you may be watching Netflix or whatever, you don't want to get up, whereas when you eat plant-based, you could actually go for a run like a half hour after you've eaten.
Yeah.
You've just got that energy, and it's just, and you're lighter. You just feel lighter and healthier.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, because thanks to you, for the 4 weeks of 100% plant-based diet challenge, I can definitely feel the change in the level of energy. And I think the biggest change is like when I used to go to the gym and I do CrossFit, right? I would like always end up like, I can't breathe. I have a feeling I can't breathe when I start pushing myself, and I'll be running out of breath and all that. And I'll be struggling through it, but I'll push through the session. But now when I'm in CrossFit, like I don't struggle. I actually feel my body working for me, that it's pumping more oxygen and energy into my body. And the more I push, the more energy I feel, the more harder I feel I can go. And it's just an incredible feeling. Like, is that what you feel when you exercise too?
Yes, so that was a big change for me as well.
Yeah.
As I was doing CrossFit at the time and teaching yoga classes on top of that, and I was really worried about that. Like, would I have enough energy? Because all those questions when you go to plant-based is, well, am I going to lose muscle mass? Am I going to, lose all these things? And you don't. You may eat a little bit more, but. And I found myself when I was actually doing 3 different programs. I was doing a HIIT training program with this bodybuilder that I had met through another program, and CrossFit, and then yoga on top of that. And that was when I was really, really fit. And when I got home, I would just eat, like, as soon as I got home, I would have like a smoothie of some kind. Lots of greens in it. And then obviously before, like a lot of my pre-workout stuff was juicing, because that goes straight to your bloodstream. So I would always do like celery, cucumber, even spinach and things like that, juice it, just to get that kick and the energy to help before the workout. Now I wouldn't drink tons of it, just a small glass.
Okay.
But it was, I put like ginger in there and things like that, and lemon that would help really give you an extra kick.
And is that to alkalize your body or like give you body that energy boost?
Yeah, it will help. It gives you an energy boost and it helps alkalize, obviously. But it's very important when I discovered after I worked out was to do a really big alkalizing drink. So even if it's simple as just water and lemon, and like some kind of greens, I would do that right after workout to hopefully neutralize some of that, acidity that I built up from the workout.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, are we ready for our next flywheel question? Yeah?
Yes. I love that thing. That thing's awesome.
All right. Question 2. What triggered you to be more health conscious and why?
Good questions. These are awesome. Good job.
We're going very deep here.
Yeah, we are. So what triggered me? Some people will say things like, this one thing triggered me. I don't really have one thing. For me, it was a number of different things. And I always call it where reality just kept slapping me in the face.
Okay, how did it went like this to you?
Oh yeah, well sometimes it was like a really hard slap, and then sometimes it was a giant foot in my ass just to wake me up. It was So I had, I'll point out three that were like.
I want to know the foot in the ass moment the most.
That one I'll say at the end.
Okay.
So for me, I think it was just like, I noticed that I wasn't doing well, and I had a really stressful job at that time, and my headspace was really bad. It's kind of funny how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
you get it stressed out and all hell goes, crazy anyway. But it was a very stressful job. And when I first started the job, it was great, but they had this computer program that changed our hours and our days even. So I no longer had like a weekend off. I would have what they call split days. I'd have a Monday off and then a Wednesday. And then the next week I might have a Tuesday and a Friday off. And then the next week I may only have one day off, like a Wednesday. And just my life kind of fell apart, and I felt like it fell apart. I wasn't able to, the limited friends, because I moved from the United States here to Australia, I didn't really know that many people. And the limited friends I had were all working 9-to-5 jobs Monday through Friday, and they were partying and having fun, getting together on Saturdays and Sundays, and I couldn't join them. Mm-hmm. So it just became a very lonely time for me, and I just started reaching for horrible things, Band-Aids that I thought would help me, but it didn't. And even being health conscious, it still didn't matter. It was just, I needed something at night to help me sleep, which it was a double-edged sword because it made things worse. Mm-hmm. So, for me, it was, bourbon and Coke, even just one glass just to numb my brain because I could not fall asleep. Wow. I was just so miserable. And then I started smoking again, which was a really stupid thing. So all these things started to happen. So I knew I was in trouble, and I knew what was going on, but it was like, jumping in a river of shit. I knew it was there. I could see all the crap floating in there, and I could feel myself falling into it. And it was kind of like, okay, this is kind of, and I just sort of let it happen, So in my defense and not in my defense, it was, partly my fault for doing that, and not having a good enough mindset. And it just I just let it swallow me and take control. So I already knew that was happening. My weight gain was starting to go up, and so the real kick one of them was sleep apnea. I started having horrible sleep apnea, and I didn't know how bad it was. And I did a test where they test you at nighttime. You're hooked up to the heart monitor and blood pressure, all this stuff. And you do it for a week. I think it was a week, maybe more, a long time ago. But it was, so they calculate how many times you woke up or didn't breathe.
Yeah.
And I had like some crazy amount, like 20 times where I stopped breathing for almost 2 minutes.
Whoa.
It was horrible. Now I didn't think it was that bad because you don't know. You just kind of, especially if you've got a bourbon and Coke in your stomach, you don't really know what's going on, even though you think it's helping you fall asleep. It wasn't, there's tons of sugar in there, and the way I was eating too, probably lots of unhealthy things. And, it was just a bad sleep. So that was one. Then the second one, now this is actually the foot in the ass.
Okay. Tell us.
The next one kind of follows after that one. But I would say altogether, at least probably 20 different things I could talk about.
Wow.
So, yeah, the real boot in the butt was I was born and raised camping and outdoors stuff, and I've always been that way. I love it. One of my passions is photography and wildlife and landscapes, and I hadn't done this in a few years at this stage when I was really at the worst of my health. And I was invited to a hike on Fraser Island. And it was just a one-day hike. It was like a 9 to 10 hour hike. Really simple, something I should be able to do no problem. But of course I hadn't done it in 2 years, and my health was horrible. And I went along with this, brought my camera and everything. And probably halfway through the hike, I was starting to feel a lot of pain in my body just because I was so out of shape. But the walk back to camp was just an absolute nightmare. I had I felt like I was going to die. I thought someone had stabbed me in the back with a knife. And I would have this excruciating pain. And then it felt like when I got stabbed in the back with a knife, somebody would punch me in the stomach. And, it was just like this continuous pain. And when it got really bad, I had to lay down. I must have laid down. I've actually lost count, 6, 8, maybe 10 times, where I had to literally just lay in the mud on the ground and just to get my breath back. People were giving me aspirin and ibuprofen just to take, the pain away. And I was so embarrassed, like unbelievably embarrassed. And I had to have people that hadn't, carry me back to camp. It was just, it was horrifying. And I that whole night, I couldn't even sleep, not because of how unhealthy I was, but just because the embarrassment. And I got back home and, I was like, just forget about it. Time to go to work. I'll, go right back into the grind. And I had bought a shirt probably a few weeks before that. And I had gone up to a double XL. And yeah.
Well, can I ask, like, how heavy were you back then? Just so I can mentally
got
picture
up
you.
to like 120K, 110K.
And you're about how tall?
I'm just under 5'8", so 5'7" something, 5'7", 6".
Wow. Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was just horrible. So double XL, brand new shirt for work. And I put it on and it was tight. And I couldn't even wear it. So the other shirts that were double XLs had been so stretched out, they were really probably a 3XL. So that was probably one of the final ones, I think. So that was the kick in the butt was the hike. And then the following that was putting that shirt on, brand new shirt that I was really happy to wear. And it was tight. And I just was like, what? I just looked in the mirror and was like, what the hell are you doing? And I, right after that, that's when I started getting into health. And that was the trigger to get in to change my life because it was killing me.
And can I ask, like, so you said it was a series of triggers, probably about 20. Roughly, what from the first trigger to the last 20th trigger that made you take action? Like, what was the time frame? Like, how long did that last? Like 1 year or 1 month or
I would say gradually. It was a very gradual slide.
Oh, okay.
So I would say it probably started happening to me. I used to own a business in Key West, Florida, and it got destroyed in 2005. Was one of the worst times of being in Key West. We had like 5 hurricanes in like 3 months or something like that.
Whoa.
It was horrible. And it just destroyed my business. And that was what led me to Australia, which is a happier story.
Of course.
Because I could see the energy just went. But so I think it was that point of when I lost the business. And it was just a slow, gradual decline over time. And I think the last 2 years of being unhealthy was when it really started to present itself, if that makes sense. So I would say probably 15-year poor health slide. Not horrible. It wasn't like immediate. It was a slow, it was just
slowly downward.
Just kind of gaining a little bit of weight. Okay, I'll come around next year, a little bit more weight.
So it's
a
like
little bit more.
You thought you were making progress, but you were going downwards.
I was going downwards. And I didn't know I was going downwards. It was kind of like, when you ride a bike and it looks like a flat surface, but you're actually struggling because you're actually going uphill. But for me, it was going the opposite direction, not pedaling the bike and sliding down. But the last,
And the weight helped, I'm pretty sure. You went down fast.
oh yeah, the weight picked it up. So the last 2 years was when I started to really notice, I'm in trouble here,
Okay.
and I just I think I was in denial. And that's what led me to all of this. And this is where, I really want to help people that, for me, I didn't think there was a way out. I didn't know anything about, I thought I knew how to eat healthy. Like my mother taught me very well, but when you start to learn this stuff, and even if you don't go to, take a nutrition course, because you don't have to do that to learn about it. But if you take the steps, if you do a cleanse, or then you do, you try a different diet, each time you do it, you learn so much. And, even like all the different diets out there, I've tried them, even the ones that I don't agree with, because I want to know, does this work? Will it work for me? Can I be able to tell somebody, hey, this diet isn't great for you because, it's not sustainable. And I want to be able to back that up, because I don't want to be the guy who says, you should only eat plant-based and you should do this and you should. That's not going to help people.
Like, who the hell are you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. What's going to help people is that, they know that you're a real person and you went through the struggle yourself and you've tried different things. And that's the whole reason why I do it.
Yeah. And I think that's why we connect so well, because we both believe that it's not about going from where you are now, which is probably a pretty unhealthy state, and going 100% extreme, because that's just not possible. It's even if you do it, it's not sustainable, because we're all humans at the end of the day. And so that's what we the health formers is all about, is that we transform health one bite at a time, at a pace that you are comfortable with. And that is going to be sustainable. I love
that. Yeah. And that's the way it should be. That's to help you. I know people that have gone extreme. And it's funny that most people, and if you ask them, most people that have gone extreme, they just didn't know what they were doing. They were like, that's it. I'm just going to be this way. They're either one way or the other. And then I've got friends that are like that. That's the way they think. It's like, they don't want to wait to build up the strength on the body press machine. Like they're going to go straight to 120 and they can't lift it.
It's just like exercise, right? You can't go like, I'm going to win an Olympic medal the next day. It's not possible.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just, hardcore. I'm going to win the lotto tomorrow, chances are pretty slim. Not saying you can't, but yeah, a lot of guys that I know and some of my mentors, that have gone, that did do that had that kind of personality. What they discovered was when they went straight, let's say plant-based, they were just eating like iceberg lettuce and tomatoes and cucumber, and they became malnutrition because they weren't getting enough protein and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah, and that's a very important point, because a lot of people think that being vegetarian or being vegan is healthy. Like, do you agree with that? Like, does that equal to healthy or not?
No, because a lot of vegans I know, I won't name any names, Bob, Jane, Smith, Joe, I'm just kidding. A lot of them that I know are one of the most unhealthiest people I've ever met. It was funny. There was a guy I used to work with, and he, was very overweight, and not that was a bad thing. I knew that of him when I first started working there. And we went and we'd never really had like lunch together ever. This one time we were working on a project. So we spent probably 2 weeks on this project, and we had to eat lunch together. And every day, because the whole time I kept thinking in my mind is he's super healthy, because I knew he was vegetarian, he was vegan, but he was big. He was a big guy. And I didn't judge him because I thought, well, maybe he's lost weight, because even for myself, it took a good 6 months to a year to really lose a lot of that weight that I had. So I just, thought maybe he's already lost, 50 kilos, who knows what.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're having lunch together, and he orders a coffee with almond milk
Mm-hmm.
and extra foam. I don't know what, I'm not a coffee drinker. So he had
Mm-hmm.
some sort of foam thing on top of it with
Mm-hmm.
extra sugar and cinnamon on top, with a pastry and like 2 other different types of pastries and like a vegan brownie. And
Wow.
then he had a salad.
Okay. Oh, what's
And
wrong
I
with that?
just,
It's all vegan, right?
yeah, it's all vegan,
Yeah. What's
but
wrong with it?
tons of sugar. I just couldn't believe it. And every day he would eat that. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, so that's what's happening with you. So just
Yeah.
because, if somebody says they're vegan or vegetarian, that does not mean that they're healthy at all in any means. And the truth is this: whether you're a meat eater or you're a vegetarian or vegan, and that's why I personally don't like titles. I just tell everyone that I'm 80-90% plant-based, because I don't like to go down that road and get into debates with people, because at the end of the day, all of us, we have a mindset, and we have a view of what we see our health as. And if you only know so much, like I did, your view may only be that big. And then the more you learn about it, and the more you learn about it, that it starts to widen, and then you're able to see all these different possibilities. And the truth is nutrition, whatever you're eating, expand your horizons. Learn about the different foods. Learn where your meat's coming from. If you're a meat eater, find out. You may be quite shocked where it's coming from, and you might change your mind to, grass-fed or whatever. But yeah, when you are just looking through that little glass of what your mother and your dad taught you, what everyone, that's the other thing too. When you look around restaurants, what people are eating and coming from different countries, I can see, almost every restaurant, at least I would say 90% of each restaurant in every part of the world I've been to is like this. Like in Australia, it's salt and pepper calamari, chicken parmesan. It's the same stuff everywhere you go. And I'm like, this is not variety. So everyone's looking through this little thing thinking they're eating healthy. So it's not, it's got to widen your horizons.
Yeah, that's so true. I think one of the biggest progress I made in the 4 weeks 100% plant-based diet challenge that I went on is you helped me broaden the horizon. Like, I've learned so many new plants that I've never known. And I remember one of our initial conversations is I was asking you questions like, what was some of the stuff I was saying? Like, what is I can't remember what plant. And you were actually teasing me and describing and making fun of me. And I actually believed you it was that thing, but it wasn't. But now I know.
Well,
I was asking, what's spirulina? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I made a joke. I said, it's actually a plant. You can find it in your backyard. It's got a spiky little thing with thorns on it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, I'll go look for it.
Yeah. And to me, that's it, taking some, and that's why I love what you're doing with this health formers, because it's taking the pressure away. Because a lot of people, I think, have to be so, we're always looking, as humans, we are always looking for that one thing that will solve our problem. We're very singular when we think about food as well. We're programmed to know, like, when we go, take this pill and you'll feel better in a couple of days. It doesn't work like that. Obviously it does when you've got a medical situation, but with food, that's not how it works. You can't read an article on broccoli and find all these amazing things that it does and just eat broccoli for the rest of your life.
No. Yeah. You need that variety, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I love what you're doing, and then make it fun, because that takes some of that pressure out. Some people get really into the, the nitty gritty, and they're looking for that one solution or a couple of different solutions. And it's like, have fun. You know, we're all human, and let's just enjoy the planet we live on. You know?
I know, and who doesn't like a little bit of fun?
Exactly.
While on that topic, let's have some more fun with the next question. Here we go. Hang on. Okay, the question is, have you zagged since you became plant-based diet? And if you did, what was it? So let me explain what zag mean for you listeners out there. So the terminology that we like to use is we refer to, like, if you're being healthy, it's called zig, 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 zig. And because what ideally you want to do is you'll be zigging most of the time, being healthy most of the time. And because we're all humans, sometimes you just, have some cravings. You want some pizza or, want some meat. So it's okay to zag once in a while. So it's that balance of how often do you zig and how often do you zag, and finding that balance to stay healthy. So the question is to you is, you did already cover that you're around 80-90% plant-based diet, but have you zagged since you became like this healthy person?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Of course. And I was, good question. Because I'm trying to remember exactly when, I can't really recall when I did. Like I was either a week or two ago I did. And to me, a zag, like I still do zags. Like I'll have once in a while, like French fries or chips, hot chips. But I usually will have that balance with like a big salad as well. I don't just eat the chips, but yeah, that's a good question, because I think I had pizza. I'll be honest.
With
I had
extra
pizza.
cheese?
I love pizza.
Me too.
I personally like to have pizza. I like to make it from the way I make it personally. So, but I went to a birthday party, and it was at a pub, and there were very limited selections. Now, usually I would, and this is a great tip for your listeners, if you do want to eat healthy and you're at a restaurant, and you're struggling, and you're like, what do I eat? Everything on the menu is like a hamburger and salt and pepper squid and all that stuff. What I do is I look for sides. So I look at, especially even fancy restaurants that sometimes aren't that healthy. I'll look at their steak, and they'll have like a side of steamed greens. And I'll be like, okay. And I'll ask the waiter, can I have the side of steamed greens? Can I have this side? And I combine the sides all together. And then I wind up having a big meal. But this case, I did not. I saw a vegetable pizza, and I went, you know what, screw it. I haven't had pizza in so long. And the thing that sucks, and which happens to you a lot when you do eat healthy, is you wind up feeling let down because the pizza wasn't very good. I got it, and I was like, seriously? This is the zag meal I pick, and it sucks? Come on.
It's not worth it.
I usually I like making my own. I usually I experiment. I love experimenting with pizza because I try to come up with a healthy version. And I've done a number of different ones, and I use like cauliflower. I've used kale. I've used all kinds of different strategies and methods, and some have been absolute failures and disasters in the kitchen.
I should
and
do a pizza recording with you for the YouTube videos that I'm doing. We should do one.
Yeah. So the last one I made was actually quite good. It was a combination of cauliflower and spinach. I'm trying to think, I had something else in there. I wrote it down, so I saved it, and it actually came out pretty good. And yeah, then I just put like the veggie toppings on top of it.
Is there any cheese on the pizzas you make though?
I do, yeah. So either we'll do cheese, but very limited. And I usually am careful with what kind of cheese I pick as well, what source I get it from. The other option is I have done it with nutritional yeast and cashews. And that's quite delicious as well.
Okay.
And
why nutritional
there's vegan cheeses you can buy out there. But that's pretty much, it's so easy to make, actually. It's very easy to make.
Okay.
So it's just nutritional yeast and cashews.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm sorry I interrupted your story. So what happened that day at the pub? You ended up having the pizza and what else?
Yeah. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's it.
just the
Okay.
pizza. Yep.
And how often do you zag?
I probably zag once a week, maybe
Okay.
twice, but
All
usually
right.
once a week. But I don't think of it as, when I wanted to lose the weight and I committed to this. I think this was the big thing for me was when my first cleanse I did was amazing. And I lost a lot of weight quite quickly. And that was over a 1 month period and not like a ton, but a significant amount, that most that I've ever lost in my life that quickly. So that's when I started getting interested in nutrition, because I was like, how come no one knows about this? This is incredible. Like, all the diet programs I've seen, I've never seen that, done that way before. It was such an alien world to me, this whole cleansing thing. So I really started to dive into the science of it. I wanted to know what was going on with my body and how come I never knew about this? Like, why isn't this mainstream, So that's what started it. And yeah, for me, I think it was just when I started to lose the weight, and even though I was like, to me, I was so big that I didn't want to go to the gym. I was like embarrassed, I wasn't happy with myself. And I've always hated gyms growing up. I've just the guys in the mirror, looking at themselves, and, I just didn't like the atmosphere. Everyone seemed to be so, and it was probably the gyms I was going to, especially in Detroit where I grew up. No one talked to anybody. It was just like, shut up, I'll look at myself in my mirror. So that was like, I didn't want to do that. So when I started to lose the weight, I started to have energy. And this newfound energy came into my life. And it was like, what is going on? I just naturally started to gravitate towards working out. And that's what inspired me to do yoga. So that was a whole world that I had no idea about, and yoga's literally changed my life.
I loved your yoga classes.
Yeah, thank you. If somebody went back, in time and said, Derek, you'll be on a podcast with Lucy, with health performers talking about health and cleansing, and you're a yoga instructor, I would have hit the floor laughing. I mean, there's no way in hell would I have ever thought I'd be a yoga instructor. Like, and what inspired me to do yoga was it was different. I love variety. I'm a variety kind of person. I like trying different things. I don't like following mainstream stuff. And it just worked. And it was a photo of a friend that he had just got really toned, lost a ton of weight. And he looked amazing. And I was like, what is he doing? And he was doing yoga. So that photo is what sort of led me down that path. And after that, I started working out. I started lifting weights. I went to the gym. It was just this tumbling effect that happened from just having all this energy. Then I wanted to do CrossFit, and then I wanted to do this HIIT training. And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. And
Thank you.
Yeah, and time's flying by. We only have a few minutes left now. So there's just two more questions that I really, really want to ask you.
Yes.
First of all, tell us, so what's going on with your business in the next few months?
Doing a whole new website, which is pretty cool. And I've got some new, pretty much rebranding a lot of different things in my business. And looking for, I'm creating a program that will be for groups and reaching out towards businesses as well. So I'm looking at because I'm really good with one-on-one and stuff, but I can only do most people, you can only take on about 15, 20 clients. When you start to get more than that, it's just too overwhelming to remember every little detail. Where their iron levels at and things like. You always have to go back and look at all the different assessments that you've done. Where I feel like for me, the whole reason why I started doing this was to help as many people as I can. And so this has always been, and other people do this as well. And I want to do it a different way. So I'm looking at being able to do 50 or 100 people or 200, 300 people in one go, where they all can join into this program. So I'm looking at that, and I'm about to launch that.
Wow.
Then, the other thing is, just right now, because of the time we're in with the coronavirus and all that, is for the first time ever, I'm going to be launching this in the next day or two. Is something I've never done before because of the situation we're in. Is, to me right now, the importance is, following what all the reliable sources are telling us to do, stay clean, wash your hands, things like that. Social distancing, things like that. But on the nutrition side, for me, is prevention. This is the time to really look at it, because a lot of people are going out and buying all the junk food and pasta. They're going to be gaining a lot of weight and becoming unhealthy, and they may be more susceptible to the virus. So to me, this is the time to build prevention. So I'm offering a program. Normally it's like $200 or above. I'm doing one for $97, where you can find out what kind of deficiencies you might have, find out what your antioxidant level is like, and if you need to build it up. Real simple, easy to the point. So I just basically, you do the assessment, and I give you a list of foods, and then you just take that information and you do what you want with it. So you create your own meal plans or whatever, but at least it gives somebody an idea of what foods they should be possibly eating more of. And if, they need more antioxidants in them, because that's, to me, it's about prevention right now. Making sure that we stay safe. A lot of people are so worried about cleaning the outside, like their hands and stuff. I want to make sure that you're cleaning inside.
Wow, that's so great. Like, I can't wait for it to launch it, because I can definitely feel the benefit of you coaching me throughout this month. How, because you were able to tailor the recipes for me, and I felt I was so balanced. Like, for the first time ever, I didn't feel like I was out of balance in terms of my nutrients, and I was full of energy the whole time. And that it's definitely really important to keep that balance when you're going on this journey.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Glad to hear it. And you've done so incredibly well. Your last assessment, shocking. Like,
I know.
Incredible.
Yeah. And I feel incredible. Gone up. And my skin's so soft. And the best part is, like, how when we were talking at the beginning, I was like, really? I can lose weight by doing this? Like, eat 6 days where there's breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, and dinner. And I cleanse 1 day a week. And you were telling me I will lose weight. And I didn't really believe you at the beginning. But then, like, the result now, like, I've lost like 3 kilograms in the 4 weeks without even trying. And I'm like at the skinniest ever I have been since the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I'm almost at the weight I am 10 years ago, almost. I like by another 2 kilograms. Which is like and I feel incredible. So thank you. But
you had a couple of interesting zag meals.
I have for this week, because we haven't started our next program. I'm gonna
throw it back on you. What was your zag?
Have a time now? No, I can answer that. I've zagged on. So this week, because I finished the 4 weeks program, and I am only human, and we will be starting our next program in a couple of days. So this week I've been zagging on, what is it? My favorite Japanese dishes, which is grilled fish, karaage chicken, and then Nutella. Of course, I love Nutella. And then this Italian Tim Tam I liked. And yesterday I zagged on this Taiwanese dumpling restaurant, and I've still got some leftovers in the fridge. That's me zagging. But the interesting thing is, after I zag 1 or 2 meals, the next day my body wants more plants again. Like I literally can't zag too many meals in a day, in rows. Like my body will crave something natural, something whole food, something plant-based. Yeah. It's like, it's really weird. It's like I've been reprogrammed my body and how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. When you know, even if you go 80, 90% plant-based, you know, for your viewers and listeners out there, is you'll feel it. Like you will, everything will change in a good way, not a bad way. And I think there's a lot of fear around, you know, going plant-based or how far you go. And, you know, it's a different world. Your taste buds change for the better. Your health changes, your sleep, everything, you know, and you get to a point where, you know, there was one time where I went away on a camping trip, and I knew, you know, I brought a ton of stuff with me, but I also knew there was going to be a lot of, you know, potato chips and things like that out there. And of course, you know, I'm going to want it, you know, so I'm careful with how much I consume. I don't nearly consume as much as I did, you know, in the past, but man, at the end of that camping trip, even though we had a great time and fun, I was dying to get home to be able to have fresh, you know, veggies and make my salads again and have all my little treats like seeds and, you know, all the little, because I pretty much make, and it's so easy. That's the other thing. A lot of people don't realize, your listeners, it's easy. It's not hard. Abolish that word hard. It is easy to eat healthy. It's so easy. And I can make my own salad dressings in literally like 5 minutes. And get away from the preservatives and the sugars and added stuff that's in there. And I love it. And when I get home, it's like, oh, can't wait to have that.
I know. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I even have times where after I play tennis, and all I want is just this green smoothie that I make by myself. You know, it has a bunch of all these green vegetables and green apple. And then I couldn't find any juice bars, and I chucked a tantrum. I was like, I'm not having lunch with you anymore. I'm going to go home and have my green smoothie. That's how much I craved it. It's crazy. Okay. So last question. So the goal of Health Formers is that we want to influence and impact as many people as we can globally to join this plant-based diet, healthy movement. The main goal is for us to be healthy, heading in that direction to not only for your own health, for your loved ones, who can start to influence them, for our children's children to create a better world where there's zero poison, and ultimately we can also save Earth. So as a hero, because now in this podcast, you're part of this Heroes Alliance that we are building here, which other health heroes can you help invite to join our next Health Formers podcast?
I have reached out to a few people, because you did mention that. They haven't gotten back to me yet. So I will have to let you know, because I don't know where they are in the world at the moment. Okay. Especially with everything that's going on, but I've reached out to 3 people, and as soon as I know, I will let you know.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait. So yeah, thank you so much, Derek. This is time's up for today. We've finished. We managed to go through, I think, 3-4 flywheel questions, and I really liked it how we just got deeper into the conversations and how you were so open and just shared your experience with us. I hope your listeners out there, viewers out there, that you found today's session helpful. Please leave us a comment. Let us know what you liked, what you would like to hear more of, and we will be fine-tuning this every week. So I will be interviewing a different guest every single week, and I'll be releasing these podcasts every single week going forward. So thank you so much, Derek, for your time today. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did. Have a great day. And
You too.
remember our sign-off slogan is
Yes.
you need to say live happy, live healthy, and ha 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 ha. So there you go.
What was it? Live
Healthy, live happy, and ha ha ha. Like laugh it out.
live happy, live healthy, right?
Yeah.
Live happy, live healthy. Thank you so much for having me, and can't wait to see it.
Okay, thank you everyone. Live healthy, live happy. Woohoo! Take this to the next level. Cool. That's in the background.
That was weird.
Oh. Ready?
Ready? Hi, my name is Derek. Is this good?
Speak up.
My name is Derek Zemmin, and I'm a radio DJ.
Oh yeah, that's
By the way,
good.
you just won $5,000.
What's that?
This is my awesome little to-go blender
Oh, okay.
because I'm cleansing today.
Oh, you're cleansing. All right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.